Hello Looney Loomers, Joyce here, also known as 33shintara33 on Instagram. Yep, I'm back with my second tutorial ever, so I'm definitely still learning the ropes very much. Please hang in there with me. For today's tutorial I chose to do one on the loom. It's one of my own designs, the Luxor bracelet that you can see here. As you can see, it has the bands sticking out, and I always really like designs that have a different shape to them or bands sticking out, or like my Pharaoh's Pyramid bracelet, of which you can find a tutorial on Loves to Loom's channel. It has a 3D shape because it's pyramid shaped, hence the name. And this one, of course, with the frilly bits sticking out, I really like that. And the nice thing about the Luxor bracelet is that you can wear it in different styles. This is the way I intended it to come out, but what I figured out is that if it comes off the loom, when it comes off the loom, I mean, you have this look. It will come off a bit like this, maybe a bit messier. So you have that whole open look to it, which I also really like. Both versions lay really flat on your wrist, and I really like this side, you know, with the open look and the little arches to it. But what you can also do is stretch it, which we will do once it comes off the loom. And as you can see, carefully stretching it has the bands popping out about halfway. But what I really like about this look is that it also raises the middle. Can you see that? So it has that little sort of stegosaurus look going on, which I really like. And of course, if you want the look as you see here on the table, you just grab the bands a few at a time very carefully and you gently tug them out. And you grab that border you see here, the black one I'm holding between my thumb and my finger, gently tugging these bands, you see, and then they come out a little bit further. So yeah, it's up to you. It also brings down that middle. Let me show you. Of course, it's up to you which look you like. See the difference? Here we have the raised bits and here it's all flat. So, and you can keep doing this over and over again. Of course, you have to be careful because there is wear and tear on the band. So be careful not to pop any, not to break any bands. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So let's grab our stuff and let's get looming. For today's bracelet we will be needing our hook, of course, a C-clip for closing purposes, and maybe you know by now I never go anywhere without my trusty little sidekick, the stitch marker, because I don't know how about you, but I'm always so clumsy putting the C-clip on my bracelet to take it off the loom that I'm afraid of losing bands, and so I always grab my stitch marker for that, and I can just clip it up once the bands are on and it won't be going anywhere. So that's what I will be using to take it off the loom, and then I'll just use the C-clip later. Of course we will be needing our loom. Well, actually we will be needing 2 looms at least, because these are the 3 bars of the first one and we will need an extra bar beside that. I would highly suggest putting an extra 4 bars behind this though, because the bracelet shrinks a lot. So once it comes off the loom and you only use 1 loom length, it will be a short piece like this. So you will definitely be needing an extension for that one. And if you use 2 loom lengths, it still shrinks, of course, and you get a piece that is as big as this. And now I bet it won't fit everyone's wrist. So yeah, we will be needing an extension for that too. So please just stay tuned. At the end of the video, I will show you 2 easy ways to make extensions. One will just be using our hook, so very quick and easy. And for the other one, I will be using the AutoLoom, which is one of Rainbowloom's newest products. It is available on the web store and in some shops in America, so stay tuned for that. For the loom setup, what we are going to do is place the 2 middle bars 1 position down from the outer 2. And for the colors, I will be using this color scheme. So that is the gold bands for the frilly bits here and the middle of the bracelet. And my English left me there. And for the outer border, the first border you see, we will be using black. And for that inner border here, hugging that ridge in the middle, I will be using deep dark purple. So we will getting something like this, but it's totally up to you which colors you want to use, of course. So grab your bands and we can get started. Before we start laying our first bands, please make sure that the loom is in the correct position. So the arrows are pointing away from you, which makes the openings in the pins face away from you as well. And the middle two bars are one position lower than the outer two. And for our first color, I am sticking to this color scheme, so I am choosing black. We are going to lay that outer border right here. And the first band we're going to lay will be the band down here on the middle two pins, and that's for closing purposes later. That's where my little stitch marker comes in. And then we're simply going to lay a single chain of bands going all the way around the loom to the top. So the first one will go to the corner pin right there, and from there we're going up and we're going to stop one pin short of the top. So the last pin on either side doesn't have a band on it. Now I always like to push my bands down while I'm working, but you can do that later too, of course. We do the same thing on the other side. One to the corner pin and then up, stopping one pin short from the top. So the last pin on either side does not have a band on it. Okay, so we're going to continue this and I will meet you at the top. As we arrive at the top of the loom, as you can see, we will leave the last pin on either side empty. We will not be placing bands there. Instead, we will be placing them going to the last pins of the middle two bars on either side, like so. Now we will not be placing a band right here to close it up. For this bracelet, that's not necessary. Instead, we're going all the way back to the beginning of the loom. And please make sure you have your border bands pushed down to make room for the next layer. So now we're ready to choose our next color, and that will be that inner border here, hugging the center, so purple in my case. And we're going to lay some squares over the middle two bars. Now to do so, you can simply grab your band and pull it around 4 bars, like so, creating a square. And your next square will start where the previous one ended. So this is where the previous one ended. We're going up, and you can do that all the way up the loom until you reach the very end. Just pulling them over the 4 pins, like so. But what I like to do is place a band at the side of where the square should be. Just a single chain going all the way up. That's just something that I find easier to do. And then once you've done that, you can simply grab your hook and pull the bands around the other 2 pins. And I like to make sure that my band stays straight while I'm doing that. And you can do this all the way up to the top. Make sure to push your bands down too, because we're going to lay another layer on top of this. So you simply pull them over, or you do it like this. That's all up to you. And you go all the way up to the very end. Okay, so you do that. Make sure that you push your bands down to make room for the final layer. And I will meet you up top. At the end of the loom, the last band you will be laying will be going all the way to the top of those middle 2 pin bars. Making little squares again. Make sure you have everything pushed down, like I said, to make room for the next layer. And now we could choose our next color. And that will be the color of the bands that are poking out. So the frilly bits here, and they come together in the middle, creating that ridge, your little stegosaurus ridge. I will be sticking to gold, and we're going to lay some triangles this time. And we're going to lay these on top of the border with the points pointing in. So like I said, make sure that your bands are pushed down to make room for that. And to make the triangles, you can do it several ways too. I will show you 2 ways of doing it. You can simply grab your band and pull it around 3 pins, making the triangles. And like with the squares, your next triangle begins where the previous one ended. So they overlap in the corners, you see. And we can do the same thing on the other side, of course. Just simply place them around 3 pins. But what I find easier, and these bands are the ones that are sticking out, so you will be seeing these. And I find that if I do it like this, they get twisted more easily than if I just do the same thing as with the squares. Place a single chain going all the way up the loom, all the way to the end. And then just grab my hook. Like with the squares, just place it around the pin. As you can see, it keeps the bands nice and straight, and it's all easier to fix with your hook in your hand. Okay, so you're going to do that all the way up to the top, and I'll meet you over there. And we're back to the top of the loom again. I just decided to film it like this, guys, instead of sliding my loom up and down all the time and creating a ruckus. So I hope you've bared with me so far. We lay our last triangle on our last border band. So we stopped the border 1 pin short of the top, so that is where our last triangle will go. Again, make sure that your bands are untwisted, because we will be seeing these poking out of our bracelet. And make sure you have everything pushed down to make room for the looping we're going to do next, because this was the last layer. So we're going to turn our loom around. And before we can start looping, we have to lay 2 bands lastly, and that will be our 2 cap bands here in the middle. For this bracelet, we're not placing 1 cap band, but we're placing 2. So you just put your bands around the pin, twist it around, place the other end on it too, and then we have our 2 cap bands. So now it's time to grab our hook and we can start looping. The first bands we will be looping up will be the purple squares in the middle. And to do so, we are going to grab the bottom corners of those squares and looping them forward. I will show you what I mean. So for this one, we go into the cap band. Make sure you hang on to that one because I keep popping it off. You grab that corner of the square and you loop it forward. And we do the same thing on the other side. Again, grab a hold of the cap band that you don't pop it off and place it on the pin before you. For the next one, we don't have a cap band to go in, but we go into that point of the triangle and into the band we just looped up. We grab the corner of our square again and we are going to loop that forward. While my doggy is pit-pattering around. We do the same thing on the other side. We grab the corner of that square, take it off the pin and put it on a pin in front of us. And we keep doing that all the way up the loom. As you can see, it's almost like you're looping up a single chain. But instead we have 2 corners of a square we are looping up. Grab the corner, take it off the pin and to the pin above it. And you do that all the way to the top of the loom, including the last square. Okay? Push it down a bit so nothing comes off the loom while you're working. Show you that again. You go into the point of the triangle, you loop up the corner of the square and the other corner of the square as well. And do that all the way to the top of the loom. At the top of the loom, we're simply going to loop up the corners of our final square to the last pins above it. And that's it for looping up the squares. And your loom should look like this. You see? And now we're going back to the beginning for the last step already. Yes, the last step. You heard that right. There's not a lot of looping done in this bracelet. We're now going to loop up the borders, but we are not going to loop them up as a regular border, so grabbing the band and putting it on the pin where it came from, but we're going to do what I call a bypass border. I don't know if it's called that way, but that's what I'm calling it, because when you look what we're doing, we're grabbing the band, starting with this band right here. And instead of bringing it to itself, we're going to bypass it and bring it to the next pin over. Maybe you've seen this way of looping up a border before. Then we go one pin back, we grab that next border band. It's a bit tight in here. And this one we're also not going to loop up, but we're going to bypass that pin around the outside of the loom and attach it to the pin above it. Back up one, grab the border band, go up, but instead of putting it on here, we're going around the outside, bypassing that pin where it came from and putting it on the pin above. So again, one back, bypass it and put it on the next pin over. Now if you get confused and you don't know where you've started or ended with looping up the border, if you turn your loom around and you check the sides, you can see which bands you haven't looped up yet. See? You haven't looped up these yet. Here the bands are gone. So now we're going in that pin over there, grabbing the border band, bypass around the outside and up towards the next. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So for this one, we're going inside that cap band. We grab that border band, we go around the corner, in this case, around the outside, and bring it to the next pin over. We back up one, we grab our next border band, bypass around the outside, one pin back, and we do that all the way to the top of the loom. And I will meet you up there to see how you finish this looping. So now we are at the top of the loom and I will show you what to do next. As you can see, I still have this band here to loop up, which is just like I showed you before. You bypass that pin and you put it on the pin above. And this one is the same principle, but we have to go around the corner on the outside and put it on that last pin at the top there. Now for this final border band, we do not have anything to bypass. So we're simply going to loop it up like you would a regular border. This one is a bit stuck there. There we go. And the same thing on the other side. This one, we still have a pin to bypass because that will go around the corner, around the outside. And we attach it to that pin over there. And this final one, we don't have anything to bypass. So we're simply looping it back to itself. And that's it. So this is what your loom should look like. We've looped up all our border bands and the squares. The triangles we will just leave be. We won't be looping them. So now we are ready to take our bracelet off the loom. And we have that band laid here for the closing purposes we laid earlier. So I'm grabbing that one. This is always an exciting part because now of course you can simply put your C-clip there, but I'm always afraid that it pops off and I'm super clumsy with it. So I grab my trusty little sidekick and put that on here. Clip it up so those bands aren't going anywhere, then I can take my hook out. And I highly suggest not just ripping the the bracelet off the loom. You can just grab the stitch marker, grab your C-clip and take the first few off the loom to give you a bit of room to grab a hold of it. See, just put your hook behind it, take a few of them off, just as many as you feel comfortable with. I'm going to grab this one here too, if I can get it. There we go. And then you have this little part you can grab a hold on, a few bands at the same time, and you just gently take the whole bracelet off the loom. See, just wiggle it around a bit. It's not super tight, so you can do it. Just be careful. Okay, so you do that. I'll meet you when you're done. So as I said in the beginning, once your bracelet comes off the loom, it will probably look a little bit like this. So no bands are popping out and it's all open. Of course, you can just leave it like this and put your C-clip on or your extension and wear it like that. Or you can grab the middle parts here and gently start tugging it a little bit so that the bands at the side come popping out. Only halfway. Sometimes you have to help it a little bit more and you get that raised middle, that stegosaurus look. Okay? But if you want it to look like this with the bands all the way out and a nice closed middle, you simply grab the border, that black border, that first border, and you grab a few of those bands that are sticking out and you gently give them a tug, and you do that all the way up and down the bracelet. So you give it that look that you have here. It's just a matter of your personal preference. As I said at the beginning of this tutorial, once your bracelet comes off the loom, it's probably too short to fit around your wrist. So we're going to have to make an extension for that. And I will show you two ways of doing that. The first way is really easy. You only need your hook and some bands. And I always choose bands in the same color as that outer border here, but you can choose whatever color you want to, of course. To get started, you simply put your hook through those final loops of your bracelet, that closing band, and you can unclip your C-clip or your stitch marker in my case, and grab a band and pull it through those two loops and close it up on the other side, adding a band onto your bracelet. Do that again, pull it through these two loops and put the other side on your hook. And you just keep doing this until your bracelet or your extension has the desired length and it will fit around your wrist. And then you simply put your C-clip on here and attach it to the other side of the bracelet. And that's one way of making an extension. As I promised, I would also show you a way to make an extension using the AutoLoom. Now, of course, you can just use 2 pins on your loom, or you can use the monster tail or anything that has 2 pins on it, really. But I just like using the AutoLoom because it makes fun noises and it's just quirky to use, so I like it. I will be showing you how to make a fishtail extension. So we're going to place 2 bands on top of that last loop of your bracelet. I'm switching to purple because you can see that better on video. So after placing 2 bands on top, you push it on the table and you have your first bands looped up automatically. Put on another band, push it down. Always make sure to push the bands down because that way the AutoLoom works best. And you push the sides up again. And you just keep doing this until your extension is long enough. And once you get the hang of it and don't have a camera in your face, it goes pretty quickly. And before you know it, you will have 10 yards of fishtail. Okay, so you just keep doing this. And if you think that when you think that your bracelet is long enough, your extension is long enough, you simply do not put on the 3rd band. You push up on the AutoLoom again, making sure that that 2nd band gets pushed over. And then you can grab your hook, take that final band off. Oops, if I can get it, make sure that I don't lose everything. Ooh, I almost lost the band there, you see? There we go. See, and that way you're making a fishtail, so it's a little bit thicker and sturdier. And you simply put on your C-clip here and close up your bracelet, and that's it. There we have it. Well, that was it, Looney Loomers. I hope you all had fun making this beautiful Luxor bracelet. Just as much fun as I did making the tutorial for you. And that you made it all the way to the end here. I'm surely glad that I did. Remember, if you like this tutorial and you want to see more of my content and creations, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. You can use the button you see on your screen here. Come find me on Instagram too, please, for more content and creations. And when you make the Luxor bracelet, please don't forget to tag me in the pictures, the description boxes, and use the hashtag Luxor bracelet. I will post more information down below in the description box. Should you have any questions or comments, please feel free to message me here or on Instagram and leave some comments down below. I would really love to know what you felt about this tutorial, and just give me your feedback. It's welcome here. And another thing, if you have made a design of your own and you would want me to make a tutorial for that, please feel free to contact me for that too. And show me a picture and we will see what we can do and if we can make a tutorial together. Stay tuned for more of my designs and tutorials coming up. And that was it for today. Stay colorful, stay creative, and most of all, stay loony. That's all, folks.